guys, it's Miss Carol. We don't have Shine today, obviously, and I know that you were wanting to see my face, so here it is. Miss you guys. Although there's something to be said about wearing comfy clothes today and being in my slippers teaching you guys. So I thought it would be easier to video a couple of the things I wanted to talk to you about today. We'll see if this even works. You know me and technology. We do not get along, so we'll see if we're even able to post this up onto the YouTube channel. But hopefully it will work, and we'll go from there. So I have some students with me today that I'm teaching to, so I can pretend that they are you guys. So would you like to introduce? Or this is Riley. Say hi.
Hi.
And Evan down on the ground up there.
Pikachu.
For Pokemon, and thanks to my husband. All right. Thanks, guys. Down. Evan. Thank you. So, okay, first things first, I was going to collect your essays, the 3-paragraph essay on the plot twist in Sherlock Holmes. What I'd like to do, if you haven't already done it on the computer, if you just wrote it out, it should take you all of 5 minutes to just type it out. You don't even need to put it in a Word document. Just open up an email and do it that way and email it to me. And I would like that by, today's Tuesday, I want that by, you know what? Send it to me by the end of the day. It's not like you guys are going anywhere. It's slippery out there. So email it to me by the end of the day. I need that. And there, I can't remember what else I said the last time when it got cut off. Also be checking today. I have a couple emails that I'm sending to you. One of them, super important. It has, I think there may be 7 questions on there. It's a quiz over chapters 11 and 12 that you just read in Sherlock Holmes. That quiz is due by midnight tonight, and it needs to be answered in complete, not incomplete. It needs to be answered with complete sentences. If it is not a complete sentence, and it actually needs to be at least 2, most of the questions need to be answered with probably more like 4 to 5 sentences, but there are a couple that were just a little bit shorter, shorter questions. But if they are not answered in complete sentences, it is wrong. Like, all wrong. I'm not even going to give partial credit. You guys, this is the last bit of Language Arts 2, so it's ridiculous to be not writing complete sentences. So just be aware of that. So let's see. There's probably no rhyme or reason here on the... I'm going to do this here, but let's start with... I'm going to send you the answers for the short answer questions that you guys had to do over the week for chapters 11 and 12, I believe it was. So just check to make sure that you have those answers as well, because those will be needed for the test that's coming, and I'll talk about that in just a second. So the answers are going to be in an email. Then I'm also sending you the questions for chapters 13 through 15, and that actually finishes the book. So you're going to finish the book this week, chapters 13 through 15. You're going to answer the questions. Also continue with the vocab. I'm sending also in an email the cumulative list that we have so far of chapters, vocab chapters 1 through 12, I believe it is. So, the reason I'm telling you this is because I'm changing my mind. I think it's for the best, so I think you guys are going to be happy with this. Instead of doing some sort of word game that you guys need to do, I think I'm going to do just a cumulative, not necessarily every single vocab word, but I am going to do a crossword puzzle. I will provide the words for you guys to look at, but not the definitions. So start right now. All those definitions that you have, go over them. Read over them 3 times a day, 5 days a week from here. The actual test, I call it test. It's going to be a big grade, but it will be on, we do March 24th. So it's a month away. So plenty of time for you guys to be able to be looking over those definitions. It's completely up to you. You do not have to do flashcards if it's easier for you to memorize it that way. And again, you don't have to memorize. Just be familiar with it. I'm giving you the words. So, you know, as you do the crossword puzzle and you see how the letters go, it shouldn't be too terribly hard. Yes, there will be a lot of words there, but don't freak out about that. So we'll do that instead. A reminder that since we're done with the book after this week, there's going to be a book test on March 3rd. On March 3rd, I need to know what your book project is going to be. So the book projects will be March 24th. That's the Tuesday you guys get back from spring break. So be thinking this week as you finish the book on what you think a good book project would be. And again, that's not, you don't have to tell me what that is, and I will have to approve it on March 3rd. If you want to send it to me beforehand, if you know what you want to do, don't start working on it until I approve it. I don't want you to waste your time. So once you get my approval, feel free to work on it. You can work on it this week, whenever, but like you guys are actually going to start working on it this week. I know you guys. All right, so we're going to finish the chapter. That's that for Hunt of the Baskervilles. Let's go back. I'm going to talk about, since we're done with Hunt of the Baskervilles, we'll say we're going to be done with that, middle of March, and we still have the rest of March, April, and then the beginning of May. We are going to focus on composition, something fierce here. So this week, you are going to write a 5-paragraph essay, and it's a cause and effect essay. The topic is something that you depend on breaks down. It takes a week to get it fixed. What does this do to your life? In the email that I'm going to send, I'm going to have a PDF with kind of it breaks down some steps on, and even gives an example of what a cause and effect essay looks like, but it gives you kind of some structure on cause and effect essays. And I also am going to send you a link with some more helpful hints on writing this. So look at the PDF before you write it. Look at the website that I'm going to send to you as well. I think it should be pretty self-explanatory. This does need to be MLA format. And this is the big thing. Listen. Email me by midnight on Sunday, February 22nd. So you're going to email me by midnight on Sunday, February 22nd with your paper. It just needs to be a Word. Put it in Word, send it, save it as a PDF, and send it to me. If it's late, points are taken off. It's that simple. Email me by midnight on Sunday. No questions. If you're having issues, maybe you don't want to wait till midnight. You might want to, but if you do, the only exceptions on points not being taken off is if your parent emails me saying that there's some issue with that. If you're having issues with your computer, your parent needs to let me know before that. Thank you. I'm not going to accept, I can't get it to work all of a sudden. Don't wait till the last minute then. If you're having computer issues now, start working on it now and mail it to me. You guys have my mailing address. So midnight by Sunday, the 22nd. Don't think there's any other questions about that. If there are, please let me know. And I know this is a sad part for me, and I better not hear any rejoicing tomorrow when you guys listen to this, but I think we're going to be done with diagramming. Yes, it is a sad day here in the Schmidt household. My kids are crying. Okay, maybe not, but they should be. Yeah, there we go. Kids are crying that you will not be doing any more diagramming. We've pretty much done. We went through the first section, season 1. The compound diagramming was the last thing. We will actually go over that last little bit. That's another thing. I'm going to email you just the answers for the diagramming. Check that. We'll talk about that in class, hopefully next Tuesday when we're there. But you do not need to do any more diagramming. Mourn with me here. Bailey, I know that is not a smile that I see on your face. I know that you are very sad. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to skip over in our books to season, I don't know if your book is divided into different sections. Mine is season 1, season 2, season 3, and you guys know that my book is different than your book, but we are going to work fast and furiously on commas. That little mark that can cause so many problems. Like my example here on the board. So we have let's eat grandma, and we have let's eat grandma. Without this one tiny little comma, we have cannibalism. And that's just bad. Not only should you not smoke, cannibalism is bad. And Jeff, if you're wondering what that's bad, it's a whole other story. But commas are so important. However, commas get left out all the time, and commas get thrown in all the time. What this book recommends, and I couldn't agree more, Don't put a comma unless you know the rule of why that comma is going there. But let me back. Okay, so this is a quote that they have in here. It says, bad punctuation cancels out good punctuation. In other words, if a sentence is supposed to have one comma in it, it's worth 1 point. If the sentence on the student's paper has 2 commas in it, one of them is right and one of them is wrong, the wrong one is canceling out the right. So as I'm grading your paper from here on out, if you have a sentence with 2 commas, one of them is correct, one of them is wrong, you actually didn't get that point for the right one because the wrong one canceled it out. Don't put a comma in unless you have, and we're going to go over the rules here, unless there is a rule for that comma to go there. Okay? Don't just throw in commas just because you pause. We've talked about that before. So, what do they call it? The rules will each have a buzzword for each rule. So, if you don't know it, if you're doing it just because, I just think a comma should go there, it just looks right, I just feel like it should have one. Stop! Don't! There needs to be a reason for doing it. So, that being said, let me flip on over here. In your book, we have a question. Do we have a question from our student?
Yes.
What's our question?
Well, it's not a question, it's a comment.
Okay.
You only put commas if you're listing, when you list 3 or more things.
That is correct. Very good, student Riley. Yes, Evan?
I haven't learned about commas yet, so I don't think I'm supposed to be doing this video.
All right, you can go outside for recess then.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Whee!
All right, but you have to zip it when you're doing that. Okay. Okay, so comma errors. There are 2 kinds of comma errors. There are comma splices and comma splits. This is directly out of your book. I don't know what page, again, that you're on because it's going to be different than mine. Read over it. It makes sense. Sometimes you have 2 sentences next to each other that feel like they ought to go together, so you put them together with a comma. Hopefully, we already know that that's wrong. You can either just have them 2 separate sentences with a period in between. You can have a subordinating conjunction in there. For example, we could prove we'd spent the whole day at the beach, comma, we had the sunburn to prove it. That is incorrect. So we could either do, we could prove we'd spent the whole day at the beach, period. We had the sunburn to prove it, exclamation point. You could do, we could prove we'd spent the whole day at the beach because we had the sunburn to prove it. Don't put a comma in front of because. When it's a subordinating conjunction, don't use a comma. Join the 2 sentences with a semicolon. Okay, so instead of the comma that you might want to put there, don't. Just use the semicolon. All right, so that's the comma splice there, and then the comma split. All of those rules there, look underneath there. And you're going to need to know that on your homework as well, so just read over that. It should make sense to you. And then at the very bottom it says, so remember the 6 deadly splits. Number 1, subject and verb. You never put a comma in between a subject and verb. You never, ever, ever, ever put a comma between a subject and verb. Never, ever. You never put a comma between a verb and a direct object. Between a verb and a direct object. Don't. Between a linking verb and the complement. It never goes there. Between a modifier and its noun. It never goes there. Between a verb and an indirect object. It never goes there. And between an indirect and a direct object, it never, ever, 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 ever goes there. So the 6 deadly